The judgment is permanent, and the fire is a reality. People are about to find out that ignoring the desperate and the vulnerable was a fatal rejection of the Master. We're looking at the reality of a final ruling with no appeal. We're going to unpack the daily behavior that guarantees this sentence and cover what must be done to avoid making that mistake. Good day, Grace Keepers. My name is Joe, and this is Daily Dose of God. Welcome. Later in the episode, we're going to uncover the blind spot that leads to permanent separation and why you cannot afford to be consumed by your schedule. All right, pull up a chair. It's time to get to work. We're going to read Matthew 25, 41 through 45. Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." They also will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you?" He will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." The Lord turns to the people gathered on his left side and hands down a final sentence. He commands them to depart from his presence and sends them into the eternal fire. He lays out the evidence that justifies this condemnation, focusing on their daily behavior. He points to the moments they walked past someone who was out of food and ignored the people who were thirsty. He highlights the times they shut their doors on someone who had nowhere to go and withheld resources from those who were freezing. He makes it clear that they abandoned the people who were isolated. The people ask the Lord about the times they ever saw him in those conditions. They fail to understand how their habits connect to him. The Lord gives them an answer that finalizes his ruling. He explains that by turning a blind eye to the vulnerable people in their path, they were ignoring him. He forces the standard that your treatment of hurting people is the measure of your loyalty. We also studied the servant who buried his gold in the dirt. He was punished simply because he chose to do nothing. So that's not any better, because unfortunately we see the fulfillment of that warning right here. The people sent into the fire are judged for that same behavior. They hoarded their resources, maintained their comfort, and ignored the needs right in front of them. I don't know why, but it just made me think of the nerve of these mega churches who pay their pastors like $1 gazillion a year to stand up there and say things that they don't even believe in themselves. It blows my mind, folks. Don't go to one of those churches. You can't take it with you, and you shouldn't be hoarding it either. We're all watching the Middle East right now. We see the conflict with Iran, the tension surrounding Israel, and the reality of war on the news. Well, I don't, but you might. It's easy to get consumed by these events. I understand that. Some of us sit in our living rooms obsessing over timelines and become completely paralyzed in our actual walk. This passage exposes the danger of that mindset. The people condemned here were guilty of spiritual apathy. They focused on their own comfort, and they developed a blind spot to the Lord's requirements. Their mistake was doing nothing. Living out prophecy requires breaking out of that self-centered bubble. It demands shaking off the apathy that tells you to keep your head down and stay comfortable. Staying ready requires aggressively guarding yourself against that kind of indifference. A passive faith leads to permanent separation. Self-centered blindness is exactly what the Lord addresses here. And you cannot afford to let your own schedule tune out the rest of the world. If we just learned how to make life not so much about ourselves, the world would be a far better place. Get out there and help your fellow Americans, folks. I mean, I can't even tell you how good it feels to make a difference in someone else's day. If you've got the money in your pocket, pull it out. Tomorrow we're going to step into the final verse of this chapter to confront the full weight of this irreversible sentence. Thank you all for being here. If you found this helpful, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Keep your faith grounded securely in action. And I can't wait to see you here tomorrow for another dose. You have a great day.